Hello, everyone. I am back and excited to share all of my knitting with you. My name is Christy Archer of Christy Archer Designs, and this is my knitting podcast. Welcome. If you are a returning viewer, you know how much I deeply appreciate you and all of your lovely chatter and comments below. And if you are new here, I do hope you enjoy your visit with me. I am trying to do shorter podcasts these days so that it's a little easier to digest. So I know my last two kind of got away from me, but I'm hoping this one will be another back to the shorter format. So with all of that said, if you don't mind taking a real quick second and giving me a thumbs up like, I would appreciate it. And if you are new here and enjoy this video, I would love to have you join my community. Please click the subscribe button. And if you want to know as soon as my videos are posted, click the bell and you will receive a notification as soon as my videos go live. I am trying to move closer to a once a week podcast instead of once a month. And I'm trying to do most of my post days on Mondays. That may change. I'm finding that my weekends are quite busy, so I may start videoing on Monday and posting on Tuesdays. That said, this one will be going out. Today is Tuesday. And this one will be going out tomorrow, which is Wednesday, November 28th, 29th, I believe. Anyway, for those of you that are not in the U.S., I am in Southern California, and we just recently had Thanksgiving. So that has put me a little bit behind on podcasting. Okay. All of that fun stuff out of the way, I have one FO for you today, and I'm very excited about it. And then I have two new whips, and I'm going to talk about 1 to 2 things that I will be knitting, be adding to my needles very soon. So let's get started with my one and only finished object. This is a vest. If you do not know, Lisa from Yo Yarn Girl, who is here on YouTube, Instagram, Ravelry, all of that good stuff, I'll link her below. She and I are hosting a knit along, or a make along actually. You can knit, you can crochet, you can weave, whatever makes you happy, as long as it's a yarn related project. But we are doing vests. So the make along is called, is the hashtag Vestival 2023 Cal. And even though it says Cal, again, any yarny project is welcome. It started November 1st and it ends December 15th. And this is my third contribution to the make along. And this is another Stockholm vest. And the pattern is by PetiteKnit. And oh my goodness, I love the way this one turned out. Sorry, I just dropped yarn. The next time I podcast, I will be back to my original location because I will be rearranging my living room again to get our Christmas tree in. It will be going in that corner. So the sofa will be moved back over here. So you'll see my old setup again soon. Anyway, I say that because my table's not in front of me. My table is behind me right now. And I will be able to reach in front of me. Okay, so this is a top-down construction. I'm not going to go into the details too much, but it's a very basic construction as far as making a top-down garment with a shoulder instead of like a raglan. Okay, this is done out of Cascade 220 Sport. and Lang Alpaca Super Light. And the colors that I used for this one, obviously those were not the colors. The Cascade 220 is Doe Skin, which is just a perfect shade of grayish. It's beige, but with a very cool undertone. I generally do better in cool toned colors. And then I do not remember the color number of the alpaca, but I will add that to my description notes. Sorry, description notes. So you can check that out for that information. I did do an Italian bind off everywhere with my 1x1 rib. This pattern does not call for a split hem, but I did do a split hem just for something a little bit different. And I did quite a few modifications on this, so I am going to go over those modifications with you. Well, I say quite a few. I made one modification that affected all of the increases. So instead of doing make one right and make one left right on the first stitch, you knit one and then you make one right or make one left. That's how all of the increases are done. Instead of doing that, first of all, let me show you what that was doing. Okay, this is another Stockholm that I had made. Wear this all the time, so if it looks rough, I apologize. And there's, thought I saw something on it. Okay, if you notice the neckline on this, I'm gonna fold it in half so I can hold it better and point. Okay, so you come straight down and then you do your increases and then you go across. When you do that right on the edge, it creates like a straight line, and then a straight line. And this little stitch right here never quite, when you pick up, it never quite does right. So with that, on this one, instead of doing, you could still do make one right and make one left if you prefer. I prefer lifted increases, so that is what I did. So instead of doing it right on the edge though, I did it 2 stitches away and then I did a lifted increase. And if you can tell, it rounds it so much nicer. This is a more rounded effect versus this one being, you know, straight down, then a straight line, and then straight across. And I don't get that funny stitch right where the increases and then you pick up for your neck. It just lays nicer. So I did that on the neck increases as well as the armhole increases. And it just gives a nicer shape, front and back. And I do like the little detail that it gives, you know, as far as being able to see where the increases are. I like that little detail. So that was the major change. The stitches and everything I did are the same. I'm pretty sure I got gauge. I made the second size, so I can't remember if it starts with a 2X, an extra small, or if it's an extra small. Anyway, whatever the second size is, it's either small or extra small. That's the size that I made and it fits beautifully. It has a fuzzy teddy bear kind of vibe to it instead of using the mohair, using that alpaca. I don't know if you can really, I think it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to see it, but it almost looks like a little teddy bear or something. I just love this. I had planned on wearing this for Thanksgiving, ended up in a sweatsuit instead, which was not my intention, but the cooking got away from me and So I ended up just throwing on a sweatsuit instead. So that is my FO, the Stockholm slipover, and that is the crew neck version. There is also a V-neck version, which I have made, and I love it as well. I do highly recommend the pattern. And if you have any questions about my modifications, if you want it kind of written out, I can write it out for you. And I am going to start doing Ravelry project pages again. I apologize for any of those that have looked this past year with me. I started a job last December, and so this year kind of got away from me as far as making project pages on Ravelry. So now that I've cut way back on my hours, I do hope to get back to doing my project pages again. Okay, that is FOs. Now we're gonna go on to whips, and I'm really excited about both of them, which is a good thing. Now this one, I love the pattern. I don't know that I'm loving the yarn. I'm probably going to go ahead and finish it, but I've kind of put it on hold until I decide what I'm going to do, if I'm going to finish this or if I'm going to start over with a different yarn. So this is the Midnight Dancer sock by I forgot, I'll put it up here. This is a sock that I have had in my favorites on Ravelry since well before I ever started knitting socks. This sock I was just so drawn to. I'll pop a picture up of what it looks like finished. And then I'm also going to pop up, I hope they don't mind, but I'm going to pop up a picture of one of the project pages. The way it is worn with these Doc Marten boots, so cute. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of a longer leg. I am doing a an afterthought heel. So I'm going to knit. If I stay with this yarn, I'm going to knit until I have just enough left to do the toe and the heel for 2 socks, and then I will do the toe decreases, pick up and do the heel. So I'm hoping to get a longer leg so that I can scrunch it down, but these are just the cutest. Now, me being me, I did make modifications to something super simple, but I was struggling with accomplishing the tasks the way it was written. I'm trying to figure out how to say this without giving the pattern away. But, well, okay, I guess I won't give the pattern away. So when you do, so you cast on a bunch of stitches and you work in the round, and you work one round and then you work a decrease round, and then you immediately work another decrease round. And doing those decrease rounds back to back like that was really hard for me because the way I knit, I do better with purling, and I know that sounds weird, but I do. And these were knitted decreases, and because the stitches on the second round were so far apart because it had just been a decrease round previous, it was hard for me to get those stitches to come together and wrap the needle and pull the yarn through. It was just a struggle for me. So basically what I did was, and this is sort of kind of how it's done, but not really. The ruffle is almost a garter stitch ruffle. I went ahead and made it a full-on garter stitch ruffle. And by that, I mean that for one round, I would knit. For my decrease rounds, I would for my decrease rounds, I would purl, and I would purl my decreases. And then I would knit around, and then I would do another decrease round. So not only did I give an extra round in between the decreases, but I did a true garter stitch ruffle, unlike written in the pattern. And again, like I said, I don't want to give too much away because it is a paid for pattern, but if you get the pattern, which I do highly recommend, you'll see what I'm saying about it almost being a garter stitch, but not quite. And if you struggle with the decrease rounds, just put an extra round in between the 2 decrease rounds, and it's my ruffles no bigger than what everybody else's, than what the pattern is written. It's the same size because I did do a true garter, so it didn't lengthen it any, and it's only 1 round extra. That made it so much easier for me. So anyway, okay, and this is Hawthorne, Knit Picks Hawthorne, and I believe the colorway, it's a kettle dyed. I can't remember the name of the colorway, and I don't have the ball band with me. I'll put it in the description as well. The reason I'm not loving this yarn for this, I think Knit Pick Stroll would be better. This is quite thick. It's a denser yarn than Stroll is, and I think Stroll's going to scrunch down better. Now, if you're just doing the ruffle, and it's written, where you just have a little bit of an ankle leg, then I think it would be fine. But I think for what I'm wanting to do with it, I think I'm going to do this in Stroll instead of Hawthorne and save these for just a vanilla pair of socks or maybe color work or something like that. But a lot of fun to make the ruffle. The first time I made it, I was very, very, very frustrated with it. And I had also made it too big. Again, I think the yarn being thicker, even though I was knitting my normal stitch count, it came out a lot bigger around the ankle because Hawthorne is a denser, it's just a denser, bigger fingering weight sock yarn than Stroll is. So that is that. This may be frogged, but if it is frogged, I will immediately put another one on the needles. And yeah, and I see myself making quite a few of these because I do have quite a few high top tennis shoes, and I do have a pair of the Mary Jane Doc Martens, and I would like to get a pair of the boot Doc Martens after seeing the other project page. So super cute. So that is my first whip, and really enjoying that project. It really is a lot of fun. Okay. Sorry, I've got everything on the floor here. My next project, I have been knitting, as you know if you're not new here, I have been knitting a ton of vests. Loving them, loving them, loving them. They have been so much fun. That said, I was kind of in the mood for a sweater, and with it being the holidays, sorry, my gloss is leaking. Okay, with that being said, I was in the mood for a sweater, and I made this one, I think it was either last spring, or not last spring, this past spring or this past summer. And this is I didn't use a pattern, this is just a raglan sweater, top down, easy peasy. And I made this out of Upcycle Alpaca by Knit Picks, and I love it. It is scratchy. If you're sensitive to yarn, I do not recommend this for next to skin. When I first put it on, it's really itchy, but after I've worn it for a few minutes, the itch goes away. I don't know why, but it does. So I have enough to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sweaters out of this yarn. It had gone on sale, I think, and I bought 6 sweater quantities. And with it being the holidays, I thought a green sweater would be fun. And I was going to do just this because honestly, this I think is going to probably be my most worn sweater this winter season. I love it. And I'll link the podcast where I talk about this. I'll link that below so you can check that out as well if you want more details on it. But instead of doing this again, I decided to jump on an old bandwagon. I'm late to the game on this one, and it is a pattern that I have debated on whether I liked it or not. But I thought for this green yarn, I really think this would be a very pretty holiday, seasonal sweater. It's not holiday. It can be worn year round. It's just the color is very holiday-ish. So I am doing the Ankers sweater. And this is, again, Upcycle Alpaca blend, and this is worsted. Now, I did get some worsted. I think I got 3 worsted weights and 3 of the sport weight. This one is worsted as well. I think I had that upside down. Okay. Upcycle Alpaca blend, and this is colorway grass. I love the way this yarn knits up. It has a very tight twist to it. See if I can show you. It has a beautiful, beautiful twist to it. I really enjoy working with it. I do like the fact that they are all heathered because they take scrap leftover bits of yarn and weave it into, or spin it into new yarn. So it has variations of color, and I love that. I may have to do a little bit of frogging on this. I tried it on this morning. I started this basically yesterday. And I joined last night for in the round and knit a little bit. I knit a little bit more on it this morning, maybe another 1.5 inches. And I tried it on, and of course I made modifications. So I think my modifications may cause me to make a little bit of an adjustment, and let me explain. So the sweater is written, the yoke is in, it's a round yoke construction, so every however many rounds you do increases, and it's a 1x1 ribbed yoke. It is written to be knit all in 1 needle size. And I noticed on some of the project pages and on, I forgot to say, this is a PetiteKnit pattern. I think I forgot to say that. So this is Ankers Sweater by PetiteKnit, and on her photos for the pattern, the neckline is a little more open than what I wanted. So what I did was I did a US 4 for the first 2 sections of the ribbing, and then for the first 3 sections. And for the 4th and 5th section, I used a US 5, and then for the body, I'm working with a US 6, which is what it calls for the whole thing. That said, I did the increases in everything, which I did those slightly different. I'll explain that in a minute. Because I did that, I went down on needle sizes, I think it has made this section shorter. So I think I need to rip back to where I separated the sleeves from the body and do a few more rounds, quite a few more rounds, before I separate the sleeves. And I think that will give me the depth that I need and still give me the neck opening that I like, which is fine by me because I don't mind having 0 stitches for when I separate the body and sleeves. You know how you cast on extra stitches under the arm? I don't mind having none because I prefer the way that closes up. And I write a lot of my patterns that way. It looks like you're gonna have this huge, massive hole, but you literally just take the tail of your yarn and go around in a circle, go around the stitches in a circle and pull, and all holes are gone. So you don't end up with gaping holes like you do when you cast on extra stitches. That's a lot of blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I think what I'm going to do before I do that though, I think I'm going to block this because it does have a lot of way to stretch out. But I do think I'm going to end up frogging back to where I separated and work on my increases some more. Now, as far as, so this is written with a round yoke construction, and then once you're done with that, then you do raglan increases. For my I think it's written such that you're doing make ones again. And again, I don't like doing make ones. So, and she has it written such that you're doing the make ones on each side of one stitch. And I don't like fiddling with 8 stitch markers. Instead, I prefer doing 1. So what I did is instead of having 2 stitch markers on the side of 1 stitch, I had 1 stitch marker, and on each side of the stitch marker, I would do my lifted increases 1 stitch before the marker and 1 stitch after the marker. And this is what you get. And there's not really a whole lot that you can see, but I really like the look of it. It's a very, very, very clean look. Let's see if I can show this. So my stitch marker was in the center, and then I had 1 stitch, and then I did my lifted increase. I had 1 stitch on the other side and did my lifted increase. So I do like the way that looks. And I actually think my next raglan pattern, I'm going to write it with lifted increases, just because I really do like the way it looks. It keeps your stitches from, when you do make one right and make one left, I may have done lifted on this one as well. It causes the stitch that it's next to go smaller because you're pulling from some of that yarn, and so it makes that stitch smaller. When you do the lifted increases, it doesn't do that. So your stitches, I really do wish I had a bigger section to show, but it keeps the raglan stitches nice and even. And I just think that looks tidier. One other thing I did do different is the beginning of round is supposed to be the center back. And instead of doing that, I made it such that it was the first, it was at the end of the back stitches and the beginning of the shoulder stitches. Again, that's how I write my patterns, and that's just how I prefer knitting. I don't like I like my beginning of round to at the bottom to be on the side stitch and not in the middle of the front or back. So love, 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 love this project. I love knitting 1x1 rib. It's something that's very soothing to me, and the way that I knit faster with 1x1 rib than I do with stockinette. So this was very, very, very enjoyable to knit and very fast to knit for me. And I'm looking forward to wearing this. I did make sure that I got the same fit as this with the sleeves and with the body, because I do like the amount of ease I have to this. It's very, 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 very roomy. For me, the way I normally make my sweaters is not with this much extra ease, but I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy this yarn. So that is my second whip. And sorry, let me get that back in the bag. Oh, I'm doing these most of the time. I don't know that this matters, but I just thought it was fun. Most of the time I do all of my knitting on my ChiaoGoo needles, but I do have quite a few other sets of needles, and one of them is the Zing. I love aluminum needles. Love, 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 love aluminum needles. And the Zing have almost a silky satiny texture to them. I love them. The reason I don't knit with them as often is their cords are not as nice. They are plastic cords instead of the wired cable cords. That said, Knit Picks has come out with now the metal cabled cords. The material they use to cover their cords is still stiffer than what ChiaoGoo needles are, but they are nicer than the standard plastic. That said, the only reason I don't buy more Knit Picks needles, I hate all the colors. And I know it's just a me thing. I'm sure there's nobody else out there that even thinks about the colors, but I do. I just want silver needles and white cords, or silver cords, or whatever. I know you can buy like really cheap needles off of Amazon. They are not interchangeable, but they are stainless steel with silver wire cords, and it does have a clear plastic coating to them. I wish a nice brand of needle would come out with aluminum needles that are not anodized, or anodized? Oh my gosh, the word just left me. Colored. And, or if you're going to color them, just a nice aesthetically pleasing set of colors. Anyway, and then cords that are not a gazillion different colors or are not the pinkish purple color. I do not like that color. I do not like that color. And I know I am probably way out there when it comes to that. I know most people love purple and aqua. Aqua, again, is not a color that I am jumping up and down about. And everything Knit Picks does is purple and aqua. So, love their needles though. So I just sucked it up with the colors and said, I'm going to use these. And I just love the feel of them. So, that is that. Okay, on to future cast-ons. I do have 2 more vests that I will get done before the cal is over, and I will be doing the same combination as the Stockholm I just did. So it will be these 2, and it's so weird how it comes up so much darker. This comes up so much darker. Actually, what it is this comes up so much lighter. Both of the colors are closer to this, but this one shows up so much lighter on camera. So I will be doing another vest out of this. I think I'm going to be doing I'll probably do another crew neck Stockholm. And the reason I hesitate is I do have a black, But that black, even though I wear it all the time, it's acrylic. It's 100% acrylic. So I think I want to do a grayish, blackish, and do the crew neck. And then I think I'm going to do this combination as the V-neck, so a Stockholm V-neck. So those plans may change, but these are definitely going to be vests. One that I have looked at is is it Friday slipover? I think it's the Friday slipover. That is it's either broken rib or, yeah, I think it's a broken rib texture. I don't know. I really love my stockinette, but I do enjoy knitting. As far as the process goes, I enjoy knitting textures and laces and cables and all of that. But as far as the product, I just prefer stockinette. So we'll see what happens with those. But that is it for today. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I hope you were working on a fun project while I was able to chat with you. And tell me what you're working on down below. Do you have any holiday plans? Did you do anything fantastically wonderful, amazing food, whatever, for Thanksgiving? And are you going to be doing Vlogmas this year? I will not be doing Vlogmas. I've attempted it the past 2 years and I am unsuccessful with it. So I will definitely be doing the once a week podcast, and I will make it vlogish. But as far as doing the daily vlogging, I will not be doing that. So I'll have like an intro holiday vlog for the things that we did throughout the week or whatever. And then I will do my standard podcast once a week. So that is it for today. Thanks again for stopping by. Remember to check out all my links in the description. If you have made it to the end, thank you. And please just pop a quick hello. Just say hi. And I would love to know that you stopped by and was able to spend this time with me. And I'm looking forward to spending the holiday season with you as well. So I will see you again next week. Bye.